What's going on, people? Paul from Strike Wisdom back with another video for you guys. If you're new to martial arts, if you're a complete beginner, or if you've just started and you're looking to do something outside of your existing training program. So in this video, we're going to be working on head movement and how you should be moving your head off of the center line depending on which stance you're standing in. So the center line is basically where your head starts in a neutral position or in a starting position. So if I'm standing in a passive stance like this, then the first way to think of the line would be if it went straight down the middle here. And then another way to think of it would be if it went across horizontally like this. And if you think of where those lines join, that's where the center of your head is. That's where you should be moving your head away from. So if you think of the center line as running straight down through the middle of your head, first option would be to move either side of it to get out of the way of anything that's coming straight down the middle. The other way to look at it would be if it was from the side and you had the line running this way horizontally, and this time you'd either be looking to get underneath it or behind it. There are times where you can get in front of it as well, which we'll get to later, but we're focusing more so at the minute of just avoiding punches that are coming towards your head. So think about moving from side to side, back or down. It is head movement, but it is done with the legs. So the majority of it would be done with bending the knees and turning the body, but it does move the head off of the center line. Now, the first move you can work on from this would be slipping. So slipping away from straight punches coming straight towards your face. Meaning if it's coming to here where my face is, I'd want to be either on this side of that line or on this side of that line. And when I do this, I don't want to just be moving my head. I don't just want to lean like this, because that just makes me really unstable and really easy to knock over. What I'm looking to do is turn my body and bring my shoulder around so that my head is off of that center line. And I do the same on the opposite side as well. So I'm going from one side to the other. And I'm using my body to do this, and I'm using my legs. It's not just me doing this with my head, okay? So this can be a load. I could slip, and then that's a load on my back hip. And then I could return fire as well. But we just want to focus more so on moving your head off of that line. So again, I'm in southpaw at the minute. My move from here would be to go this side of the line or this side of the line, bringing my head off of that center line in that direction. The next thing for me to do would be to duck. So this just simply means going underneath. What you don't want to do is to tilt your head forward and take your eyes off of the attacker. You want to use your legs and drop straight down. So the punch is coming straight towards your head. You drop underneath. That's your duck or level change. Now, it's a level change in the sense of it could be, in MMA, used to shoot and go for a takedown. So you'd come underneath and shoot in, but we're not looking to do takedowns in the street in self-defense. We're just looking to get out of the way of a punch, and you might be able to come back with another punch or something yourself, or even if you can just not get hit and get away, perfect, you're out of there. Next thing to work on is going to be the pulling back. So this one can be done literally from just pulling back like this as a quick movement. The other way to do it would be to pull back and use your leg, which puts less stress on your lower back, so there's less chance of causing an injury. But you can literally just wing your head back fast if a shot's coming straight at your head. So your pull back is one option there. So the next thing to work on is rolling. Now, rolling's predominantly learned from hooks, but it is still moving your head out of the way, so it does work when people are throwing straight punches as well. The idea with this is to get low first and then turn to the outer direction of wherever the punch is coming from. Meaning if the hand is coming this way around, I'd want to drop and go out that way so that I'm on the outside of the punch. Same as when I go the other way, I drop and go outside that way so that I'm on the outside of the punch. Now, the roll can be finished with a hook. I can avoid being hit, and then as I straighten, there's my shot, and I can do the same either way. The idea being that as I do this movement, now my hip is loaded, that's where I can throw my punch from, my counter punch. You can also punch at the same time as you roll, because then it's a counter at the same time as the movement rather than after the movement. And you could even tie that into a before and after, or a during and after, I should say. So a hook. The last thing to think about is baiting. So this would be putting your head in front of that center line. And then when someone throws their punch, you would pull back because you know it's coming. And then if you pull back, you can counter because they've come into you pulling back. So that's more done in something like boxing or kickboxing. You can do that when you spar with your partners. It's a really fun thing to do. It's really good at getting you used to moving your head. It's not, again, really something that that I'd advise to do in self-defense. You wouldn't want to bait your head to get punched in self-defense. If anything, you don't want to get punched at all in self-defense. So if you want to try this at home to get used to doing these movements, you can stand in front of a mirror if you've got one long enough to see yourself from the waist up, and put a little mark on the mirror where your head is. You can do it with a bit of tape, or you can do it with like a pen that you can wipe off, something like that. Don't use a permanent marker though. And stick it right where your head is on the mirror. And just take a couple of steps back if you've got the room. Stand in your orthodox or southpaw stance, and just think about moving your head either side of that mark. So if that mark's where the head is and the punches are going straight to your head, you're going to slip, slip. Now try and keep your hands up. When you start it for the first time, you can just get used to moving your head like this just to make sure that you're doing it. But remember, in fighting and self-defense, we do want our guard up at all times. So try to go slip, 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 making sure that your head comes off of that line. Once you've got used to that, you could even switch stance and try it the other way as well. So in a southpaw stance, everything feels a little bit alien at first if you're not used to it, but practice will make it much, much better. So you can slip and slip and slip and slip. You can also do the roll as well. So if you drop and go around, you come back up and then straight into where the mark is, and the other way. And then you could add the slipping back into it, and you can mix it up. Now you can pull back, you just don't get to see if you've come out of the way of the line or not, but it's still wise to keep trying that motion, and ducking definitely works. So if you're slipping and you're pulling back and you're rolling, don't forget to add duck and come back into it again, and just move and change stance and do the same thing either way. So slip, roll in, pulling back, duck in, and keep going.